Alrighty, this garden is the one that receives the most turnover because it is zone 1, which means it is closest to our house there, and it is filled mostly with annuals. So what I did here in September is I had all the summer plants and I chopped them at the soil level. Leaving the roots intact in the ground, which feeds the soil organisms, and then direct seeded everything else, which I'll talk about soon. This broomcorn, we cut it back, but it was still so warm in September, it just sent up new shoots. And I've been keeping it because, if you'll see, aphids are super attracted to it. So those are aphids, and there's the ants. They farm the aphids. They like eating the honeydew that the aphids provide. And so I am keeping this corn here for as long as I can because it is a trap crop, which means that this is the crop in the garden that all of the aphids want to go to. Also meaning that they will stay off of my cabbages and my kales and everything else that I have in the garden. So as long as this broomcorn is still here and very tasty to the aphids, they'll leave my other crops alone. Isn't that really pretty? So let's see what we've got in here. The basil's still kicking it, actually. I cut this back too, but we haven't had a really hard frost yet. So, and it's almost mid-November when I'm taking this video. Anyway, so everything here was directly seeded. Cilantro, kale. I've got a couple peas here with a silly little trellis so that it'll eventually grow up the apple here. That's the idea. And so after I cut down all the roots of the summer stuff, I laid a nice layer of vermicompost, not too much, maybe half an inch at most, because vermicompost is really rich. It's just a little bit about compost. And then when I did, nice, Nayland. When I did the direct seeding, this is spinach, I sowed pretty thick, pretty heavily, because I expected to have to lose a bunch due to, Nayland, put that rock there. Thank you, boo. I expected to lose a bunch because of bird pressure and slugs and snails and you know, all the things that like to eat these delicious baby seedlings. But to my surprise, everything came up really nicely and nothing has been getting munched too badly. I did something differently this year in that I didn't put this straw mulch back down until all of these plants were up and doing pretty well. And then I put the straw mulch back, and I think that helped keep the slugs and snails at bay. And so this one is the dino kale, and then that one with the leaves there is the red Russian kale, and this is another kind of kale, lanceolato maybe, or no, one of the kales is called black magic. Maybe this is dino lanceolato and this is black magic kale. Regardless, 3 types of kale, because kale is awesome. And moving on here, this is celery. Came up a little bit spotty. It's my first time trying celery, but you can see here the celery seeds are tiny, and so I'm gonna have to come through and thin this. In fact, I thinned everything here a couple of times already, and then I just end up eating what I thin. So if I pull some stuff up or just cut it at the base, I could come with the little scissors. That might be better to not disturb the roots. And then I put this like on salad, and it's really delicious. And I've been doing that with all these other leaves, thinning them out and just using them as salad, little microgreens. And they're amazing. These are all daffodils that I've planted along the edge here, along the little border. Very pretty. And these are carrots. Doing well. So all the leaves here too, all the leaves are mulberries, because we have a giant mulberry right here and right here. So we get these big mulberry leaves that drop in the garden, and when the seedlings are young, I have to come and move the mulberry leaves over so that they don't get covered, so they're able to grow. This plot gets part sun, part shade, because this mulberry tree, the sun travels this way now this time of year, and this mulberry tree shades it for a couple hours. But otherwise, you know, it's pretty good sun to grow some stuff. It's not full though. These are parsleys, and these were beets that we actually had over summer, but they're a lot happier now with the cooler temperatures. And what is this? Maybe some kind of cabbage. I don't remember everything I planted in here. But I also sowed some onions. And they're sprouting, coming up nicely. This is a Napa cabbage. So those are doing well. These I have to thin out some more, but I'm eating them as I do it. So it's like this one is really good because it's nice and big. I'll leave that guy, but I'll come in here and I'll take that one out, that one out. So I try to give all of them space so that they have enough space to grow, and then I'll just eat them as I pull them out. All right, and moving on down the line here, this is fennel. These little airy ones here. I love fennel, so I'm super happy about them. And then this is all broccoli. So I'll have to come and thin the broccoli out as well, because broccoli gets pretty big, but broccoli leaves are very delicious to eat. And I sowed some more beets here. I think this is called bull's blood, the really dark purple leaves, and the beets are dark purple too. And these are some baby beets that I sowed here, coming up, doing well. And a sticker that ends up in my vermicompost. Ugh, I hate these stickers. They should just make them biodegradable already. Anyways, what else we have here? Kohlrabi. Super excited about that. And we've got fava beans. I was just sitting in the sun there, so that's why the chair is there. Nice little artichoke, some more favas. I'll take you around here. And so growing up on our trellis, we've got peas. These are some sugar snap peas. And then these are arugulas that are really tasty. And another pea, some more of the daffodils. This is an apple tree that I've got kind of exfoliate on the fence there, with peas to grow up it. Mm-hmm. And so here you can see the favas are doing really well. Favas are a great cover crop because they fix nitrogen into the soil. They're a legume, but in order to reap the benefits of getting nitrogen in your soil, you'd have to chop down the favas after they're done flowering. So before they put out their big fava pods, between flowering and that time, you have to chop them down, because once they start putting their energy into the big pods, they then take all the nitrogen they were putting into the soil and bring it up to put into the pods, into their seed, their fruit, you know. So you don't want them to take the nitrogen back up. You want to keep it in the soil. So that's why you have to chop it down beforehand. But I'm not growing these to put nitrogen back into the soil. I'm growing them specifically to eat the fava beans. I just thought I'd share that interesting tip with you. And the leaves are also really good. You can put the leaves on salad. They're quite delicious. And then this little section over here, this is where I had a lot of anemones planted. So I've left it bare in case those anemones want to come back up. I've got a couple sad looking blueberries here. There's actually 3 of them. There's one here, one right there. That's probably the best looking one. And then a little stub right there. So I'm trying to nurse those back to health. I know blueberries like more acidic soil, so I'm working with them. The leaves make great mulch. These are free. Nayland did all this work. He raked the leaves from the front yard and brought them back here. In fact, I think most of this area could use another thick layer of mulch. Okay, Nayland. And so this is garden, number 1, I guess, because it's zone 1, closest to home.